I have to light some payload for this video, y'all, because whew, this job needed like payload trees in it. Why I left. Okay, so it's so many factors to this, because when I started working there, they even had porta potties outside. This video, I have been sitting on this video for months. I just really wanted to be strategic with the delivery of this one, because I worked this job for like 2 years, and I just wanted to make sure that I got everything out, you know what I'm saying? So if this becomes a little bit of a rant and also tips, you know, if this video becomes like 30 minutes to an hour long, don't be surprised, because it took 2 years of my life, 2 years of energy from this place. So I want to make sure that I am definitely getting the message across and you guys understand what I'm trying to say in this video. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a ranty chit chat. Y'all know I love a chit chat. I used to keep like low key where I worked, how I worked, very to myself up until this year. Because it's 2020. Let's all just talk about what we got going on at this point. But today I'm going to talk about a job that I used to have about a year ago. And I've actually been sitting on this job video for a while, because this particular job was my last 9 to 5. And it seemed like it was the hardest transition of my life. Like, this job really pulled out every emotion, every bit of energy out of me. I want to share it with you guys, because I know that somewhere someone is working a creative job. They do not believe that they can, you know, hold themselves up and really be their own security and stability. But I am here to tell you that you can, because I am a living example. So this video will kind of touch on, I got a lot of key topics because it's a lot to talk about low-key. I'm gonna just give y'all a backstory first. We're gonna talk about this FashionNova kids line too, because like clearly that just needs to be discussed. I'm gonna just dabble that in there. About working for corporate and also being a creative. Why do we glorify these brands in the first place? Basically, I do not like to glorify celebrity culture in any way. So this job in the first place was really just to pay the bills. Let's be real here. I'm gonna be real with y'all. This job was of no interest, you know. I just needed to pay the bills. I live in LA. I needed to get on my toes. So if you feel me, you feel me, you know. But we're gonna touch on that. We're gonna touch on why you cannot, you know, be playing with the machine trying to get to the next level. But anyway, story. And I also want to give you 5 tips for quitting your job. I hated this job, and I don't use the word hate a lot because I'm very conscious of my words. I'm very conscious of my surroundings as well. You guys know I'm also a spiritual person in the sense of being a professional photographer. So I'm all about the mental aspect of things and how they reflect me. But this job took mental out of the picture. It like completely, my mental health didn't even matter at this place when I was working this job. So I'm gonna give you guys 5 tips, because I know when I was trying to quit a job that I hated, it was really hard to understand the concept of how to get out of it, you know. Like you are in this energy of toxic environment and you're trying to transition into your new life. So I want to give you guys 5 tips on, as a creative, how to help you get out of that rut. We're just gonna talk about this company and all the bullshit it put me through and others, and you know, because it's not just me that has had a bad situation with this company. It is many of us. So let's stop keeping secrets from each other in the creative world. If a job is shitty, let's all let each other know. So let's dive into it. I'm first gonna give you guys a little backstory on me. Let's talk about it. I got hired at FashionNova back in 2018, like January of 2018, like the very start of that year. When I first started working at FashionNova, it was pretty small department that I got hired into, which is retouching. I didn't even shoot for the company. I just did retouching, and I started with a team of 4, including myself. And the team ended up growing up to like a team of like 10 by the time I left. So that shows you how dramatically like the company changed in front of my eyes. Like I saw the transition of very small company to corporate machine, literally in 2-year span. So I feel like I saw so many things. I've lived through a lot at that job, a lot of emotions, a lot of transitions, a lot of changes. Every month there was a change of some sort. How I lasted, I don't even know, y'all. Besides the team growing and all that, I think this job really took a toll on me mentally, my mental health. A lot of my confidence was drained at this job. I remember transitioning to this job, and I had already been working in e-commerce. I had been shooting already for like 8 years, so it's not like any of this was new to me. The first sign of a toxic job is, and I didn't know this because I had toxic environments before, but I have never had such a toxic corporate situation like this one. And I remember getting there and having ideas, and they were good ideas, they were great ideas, because the studio was not advanced there. And I had already been doing e-commerce, and so I was like, yeah, why don't we do this? This is what I did at this company, and this is the result you want, so let's just, let's do it. Like, they did it. And I remember like sharing all these ideas and things, and them really not being acknowledged or really taken seriously. And when I got hired, that's how I felt. I felt really small in the room. And so I would continue to voice, ideas, and it became really draining for me. And I ended up not caring, because I'm the kind of person, I say one thing or I say it twice. If you don't really get the concept, I'm not going to keep reiterating. I kind of know the energy at that point, and I'm not going to continue to fight, because I really didn't care that much about the company. Let's be honest. Like, I made an intention when I got that job that this will be my last job. This will be the job that keeps me from struggling in LA, because let's be real, LA is expensive as hell. So I was just trying to pay my bills. So that's the thing that I kind of told myself every day to get through the day. You're going to use this job to get to the next transition of you being a free creative in life. So that's kind of my backstory on them. Was it the hardest job I've had thus far? Yes. Was it hard to release? Yes. And it wasn't hard to release in a sense of I enjoyed the job. It was hard to release because I really had a good setup there, and I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to financially support myself if I left the job. But I am here to tell you, creatives, you can do it. You can do it, because I thought I couldn't, but here we are today doing it. Okay, so let's dive into, before we get to the kids line, I kind of want to talk about working in corporate for creatives. What I think creatives should do when they work in corporate, and just in general, like, should a creative work in corporate or not? Like, I really think that it is a good experience as far as getting you organized. Even going to that job, they didn't really have it together at FashionNova, so I had to bring my organization skills there. They were like saving raw files. They weren't even saving edited images when I got there, which is crazy. So every time they would have to re-edit something, they would have to go re-edit it again, which was a waste of time. But that, if I didn't work a creative job before that, I would have never known how to organize things to, make sure that in that setting I would know what to do. So I think corporate jobs for maybe a year or two are good for creatives, because it really helps you to understand why is it important to be, organized. Whether you are shooting, for something commercial, or you're shooting for your friend's brand, or if you're shooting for an up and coming company, it's really good to have ideas from corporate to everyday people, and you can always tweak these things into ways they work for you. What I learned from corporate and working in corporate settings as a creative is that it is definitely an assembly line, right? And you become this person that is doing creative things, but it's repetitive. You are are repeatedly saying editing photos, you are repeatedly doing graphic design, but it is a repetition thing and it doesn't really cause for a lot of creativity. Why is this good? It really helps with speed. It helps with, you know, if you need to learn new ways to edit, new techniques to make things faster, this is the kind of thing that you want to get a 9-to-5 for. Do not consider it to be a longevity thing. I am against that. I believe that the world is abundant and that we do not even really need these corporation things. But you know, as the world evolves in 2020 and all our consciousness rises, we will understand that. But for now, you know, I'm just going to give tips on what I think corporate has done for me in the past. So as far as being a black woman working in FashionNova, I don't remember our, whenever we would share things, I don't remember any of our opinions being taken seriously. And it wasn't just myself. You know, I had been there longer than the 2 black women that came additionally to my team, so I saw their transition of, you know, trying to make a change and stuff like that, and I had that point in time too, and they weren't really being heard, so they also stopped talking, which I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't think shouting louder makes you heard anymore, and it's like, what are you fighting for at the end of the day anyway? Like, are we really fighting for FashionNova? But my experience in my department was not the only black girl experience. I also have a friend that worked in the graphic design department who had a very, very rough time. She had a way tougher time than I did, as far as like trying to be heard, trying to make the company just better. And that's, at the end of the day, it seemed like when you were trying to put in ideas to make things better in that place, it was just like shunned. It was just like, why are you doing this? A lot of negative energy in that place. You could kind of feel it when you walk through the door. I also wanted to add this in here. I'm editing the video now, but my friend had one incident where someone in her team was asked to basically promote people of color and, like, you know, a black model specifically for sales. And this was definitely an issue, you know, especially experiencing this as a black person in the company and like witnessing and seeing this. So these were like things that black women had to deal with. I wanted to throw a scenario in there and not be so general with explaining like the black experience in FashionNova. Mind you, this was back in like between 2018 to 2019. I think she quit before me, but at the end of the day, this is what was going on in corporate at that time. So it's like, if that was happening then, I don't even know what's happening now. And so it really just stems to, why do we, you know, continue to push brands like this? So let's jump into this kids line. So when I quit, they had started shooting the kids line maybe 6 or 7 months before that. They put it on hold. So it's been like 2 years in the work, this kids line. And, you know, honestly, the fact that this is what it is, I'm not surprised, because I know the inside of this place. And yeah, I'm not surprised that these kids are looking like this on the internet. Do I condone? No. Is this okay? No, but it's also FashionNova. I mean, look at the main models, and then you look at the kids models. It's really, really not, you know, surprising to me. They do the things they do. They're obviously agenda based when it comes to things. At the end of the day, I really think it's very important for us to bring awareness to these issues and also be against things like this. Like, I don't have kids, I'm not a mother, but even me seeing this makes me a little uncomfortable. I really think that right now, in this pivotal time of like what we're living in, a lot of things are going on, and you guys know that the whole like thing with pedophiles and just like really them pushing, when FashionNova puts children online looking like this, it really becomes problematic. And I just wanted to state it in this video. Me being associated with them at some point in time, I wanted to make sure that I voice this industry, photographers, whether you're getting paid or not, just make it be known, if something is wrong, it's wrong. But you know, somebody's gonna buy it and somebody's gonna promote it. Somebody's okay with it, unfortunately, in our society. So I think it really stems to, like, when do we stop even giving our energy to companies, brands, you know, magazines, people in general of this stature that really push out problematic things, problematic content, whether it is like kids or it is glorifying like an unnatural body or something, like, you know, like, it just really gets to the point where it's like it's our responsibility as a whole to, you know, decide what are we gonna glorify as, you know, people in general. So now I'm gonna share with you guys 5 tips on how to get out of your shitty job. Looking back on all of this that I just talked about, I understand now what I needed to know to get out of the sunken place. Because let's be real, when you hate a job, you're literally in the sunken place, and it's really hard to raise your vibration up to attract the things that you really want. So here are 5 tips that kind of help me gradually get out of the jam. So tip number 1 is going to be to prepare yourself for the leave. And how I did that was I prepared my website. I started shooting more often. I started shooting a lot more new content so that when I transitioned out, I had new work for everyone to see. So that would be product work, whatever you want to engage in. Make sure that your website is fresh and ready. Also for your socials. When I was working at this job, I was on social media, but I was also kind of more focused on the job. So you want to start transitioning into making your social media a little bit more driven toward the things that you want to do as far as a freelancer, because those things play a lot into your clientele as well. Preparing for my leave was to also kind of set myself up in a sense as far as like colleagues. Like I would let people know, oh, I'm gonna quit my job. Oh, my job is really, you know, tugging on my mental health. Like talk to people in your community about this, because they may be able to help you with, you know, transitioning out of it. I also think I had a studio at the time, which I no longer have a studio, but at that time I did. So that was another reason to kind of up and pack my bag. So if you have like another side gig, side business, just amplify that energy. Tip that I did, or key fact that I did, was to make sure that I set an intention on leaving. And I already had in my mind made up that I wanted to leave. I kept telling myself that, but I just set the date. Like I said, in November, I'm going to quit FashionNova. Granted, I quit it at the end of November, but I quit in November. And I just put in my 2 weeks and I was like, I'm out. And you just have to do that. I know it sounds crazy and you really like are just kind of going with the flow of things, but this is what's going to get you prepared to do what you got to do. Number 3 is going to be to trust yourself. This is very key. As cliche as it might sound, trusting yourself is a pivotal point in this whole journey as far as like transitioning into freelance. You have to trust that you can hold your own, and you might learn that in a hard lesson like I did. I was very hard-headed with this whole transition. And I'm glad I'm talking about this, because anybody I would talk to about like freelance, like tips and just advice from this, they'd be like, oh, you know, you just gotta trust the universe. And it's like, yeah, you gotta trust the universe, but you also have to understand that you're gonna hit your head while you're doing this. You're going to fall. It's gonna be hard. You'll probably scuff a knee or something. You know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a little hard, but you have to trust yourself at the end of the day, and trust that you know and have the skills to pick yourself back up and be the boss that you already are. Number 4 would be to connect with other freelancers. Like I said, I had a lot of friends that were already freelancers, and I also just was connecting with more people that were bosses of their own. So making sure that you're talking to them, telling them about your struggles, and these are people that are going to help you, support you, give you good words, and make your transition feel a lot better, because it is hard. It's like it's like you're jumping off a cliff. It's like you're leaving the nest. So it's going to be a hard thing. You want to make sure the people that are talking to you about this are actually filling you with light and good positive energy, because if they're not, it's just gonna make you feel worse. This is the last one, but you want to become okay with not knowing anything. Like, you know, this transition is also like a spiritual transition, at least it was for me. But becoming aware with not knowing, I think that's the thing about corporations and jobs that I do not like. Like, we become so reliant on this job, so reliant on this corporation, and we lose the sense of us being so powerful and having so much power within ourselves to carry ourselves. And that job or that corporation blocks that mentality of knowing your own power, your worth. So be okay with not knowing every little thing that's going to happen, but also trusting yourself throughout it. Like, the universe will guide you. The universe will carry you if you are open to seeing the signs. It's the truth. You have to be open to seeing what will happen next. Everything will unfold as it should. It might be hard, but everything will unfold and unravel as it should. I am living proof. I'm here giving y'all the tips about it. And I'm telling you, it wasn't easy, but it was worth it. So hopefully, guys, this video wasn't too long. I know it was a rant, but I really wanted to tell you guys the whole experience of FashionNova and just like being a creative in the corporate world. Like, it seems like you would want to work at a job like that because you are able to create every day. These corporations really do not care at the end of the day. And if they do, you have found a gold mine. But 9 times out of 10, what they promote is what they are. So coming from a person that actually was in the room, had a desk, and actually worked for 2 years, I'm going to say that this is not the move. I'm going to say that maybe for 6 months to a year, this might help you just a teensy bit, but it's nothing that you can't Google on, you know, YouTube. And I'm giving out tips nowadays too, so you guys could probably watch my videos and get a little bit more advanced than where you're gonna get there at a corporate job. So hopefully this video wasn't too long and it wasn't too much of a rant. If you liked it, hit the like button if you want to. If you don't, you don't. I really just wanted to get the message across and really help anybody that is a creative at a shitty job that, you know, wants to get out and wants to understand what it is to be a freelance artist in this world and to attract things that, you know, you're capable of doing, because we all are. So hopefully this video helped. I'll be back with more videos, more story times, and more just general information for guiding yourself through this crazy creative lifestyle. So peace. I'll be back.